All right, the Invictus Games wrapped up on the weekend as a big week awaits the rest of the royal family. We're joined once again this morning by our royal. Okay, the Invictus Games came to a close with a really emotional speech from Prince Harry. Can you tell us a bit more about that? And now that the games are over, what lies ahead for both Harry and Meghan?
It began as one of the most inspiring stories in modern royal history, a prince who broke away from palace protocol to fight for wounded veterans. Prince Harry's Invictus Games was supposed to be his legacy. But now, in a devastating twist, that legacy is crumbling. The very foundation, built on hope, healing, and heroism, is under fire. A stunning $30 million has allegedly gone missing, and the person at the center of the storm is Prince Harry himself. If you want to stay ahead of every shocking twist in this royal disaster, make sure to subscribe now. We're breaking down exactly how this scandal unfolded and why it could destroy the last shred of credibility Prince Harry has left. Asterisk, just days after the latest Invictus Games wrapped up, headlines erupted with a bombshell. The chair of the Invictus Games Foundation had allegedly issued a formal legal threat. The demand, a full account of where the funds went, according to sources close to the foundation, $30 million raised from sponsors and private donors, has simply vanished from the books. This isn't just about missing money. It's about betrayal of veterans, of donors, and of a public that believed in Harry's cause. One insider told reporters the tone of the legal warning was urgent and severe, giving Prince Harry and the Archwell Foundation only a limited window to respond before formal litigation would begin. What once symbolized his rebirth as a global humanitarian has now become a financial ticking time bomb. At the center of the chaos is Harry's closing speech at the Games, emotional, heartfelt, and now deeply ironic. He spoke about pain, recovery, and the resilience of those who serve. But behind the scenes, his own organization was crumbling. As emergency meetings reportedly erupted behind closed doors, panic spread across the Sussex inner circle. Investigators began probing financial documents. PR advisors scrambled to contain the media fallout. But no matter how fast Harry moved, the story was faster. Because this time, the headlines weren't about royal gossip or family drama. This time, it was about numbers. And numbers don't lie, according to internal leaks. The missing funds were tied directly to Archwell, the nonprofit co-founded by Harry and Meghan. Multiple invoices from Invictus-related operations were routed through Archwell and marked as undisclosed services or simply not paid at all. A charity auditor told Sky News, "This is no longer a clerical error or paperwork delay. It raises the question of whether donor funds were knowingly mishandled." But the damage wasn't just financial, it was emotional. Veterans, the very individuals Invictus was created to honor, began speaking out. Some anonymously, others publicly. One former UK participant told the Daily Mail, "We were used." He stood in front of the cameras, told the world this was about honoring us. And now, $30 million is missing. It's betrayal, plain and simple. What makes this even more explosive is the growing silence from Prince Harry himself. As the scandal snowballs, the man once praised for his transparency and compassion has gone quiet. And that silence? It's speaking louder than any press release ever could. Meanwhile, headlines across even the most Sussex-friendly outlets like People, The Atlantic, and The Washington Post turning no more glowing profiles, no more soft focus coverage. Now, they want answers. Where is the money? How did this happen under Harry's leadership? Is this the end of Invictus? And perhaps the most dangerous question of all, was this charity ever truly separate from the Sussex brand? Asterisk asked. The pressure builds, the ripples are reaching places Harry likely never imagined. Major global sponsors, including banks, corporations, and philanthropic organizations, have reportedly frozen all contributions to Invictus, pending a full independent financial audit. One executive from a top-tier donor told the Financial Times, "We're not investing another cent until we know where the last $30 million went." The consequences of this pause are real. Without funding, upcoming Invictus operations could be delayed, or worse, permanently shut down. For the veterans who rely on this platform for support, visibility, and healing, this is not just a PR crisis, it's personal. And as the silence from Prince Harry deepens, the narrative continues to shift. Critics, once dismissed as royal traditionalists or tabloid troublemakers, are now being echoed by mainstream voices across the Atlantic. Even former allies in the press are asking, has Prince Harry failed the very people he swore to uplift? But perhaps the most chilling development came from within the royal walls themselves. When asked for comment, palace insiders gave none. No official statement, no support, no clarification. According to sources quoted by the Sunday Times, senior royals have been explicitly instructed not to engage with any Invictus-related inquiries. A senior royal source allegedly said, "This is Harry's venture, his operation, his responsibility. The palace has nothing to do with Invictus finances, and that's exactly how they want it to stay." That's not just silence, it's abandonment, and it sends a clear, icy message. Prince Harry is on his own. What was once seen as a bold departure from royal constraints is now being viewed as a reckless gamble. With no institutional support and mounting legal risks, Harry's self-created empire, once built on compassion, military service, and charitable purposes, being called into question, and social media isn't helping. On platforms like X, formerly Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube, hashtags like #Where's the Money, #Sussex Scandal, and #INVICTUS audit now have started trending. Influencers, veterans, and even Sussex supporters are calling for financial transparency, if not full legal intervention. One viral post read, "He used wounded warriors to build his brand, and now the money's gone. This isn't just shady, it's unforgivable." Meanwhile, leaked documents paint a chaotic picture inside Archwell itself. Multiple vendors were hired without formal contracts. Budget lines blurred between Invictus operations and Meghan's media projects. And worst of all, no one within the foundation could clearly identify where donor dollars were going. One former consultant told The Mirror, "Staff didn't know if something was for charity or content." A press interview, a video shoot, a speaking engagement, everything was mixed. There were no clear lines. This is where PR meets accountability. And accountability is winning. As the scandal worsens, what was once whispered behind closed doors is now becoming a thunderous public demand: accountability. In a shocking new twist, several veterans who participated in past Invictus Games have reportedly consulted legal teams about filing a class action lawsuit not just against the foundation, but against Prince Harry himself. Why? Because their images, stories, and medical conditions were used in promotional materials linked to fundraising campaigns tied directly to the now missing $30 million. One former UK soldier told The Mirror, "We trusted Harry because he was one of us. If he let this happen under his name, then we want the truth in court, if necessary, and he's not alone." Veterans from multiple countries have begun coordinating through advocacy networks and legal groups, demanding investigations not just into Invictus Games operations, but into any Sussex-linked projects that may have benefited from those funds. If even a fraction of the money was redirected to Archwell media ventures, Netflix documentaries, or Sussex PR campaigns, Harry could be personally liable. The legal threat isn't just civil. Several former auditors and charity watchdogs are now pushing for regulatory review, possibly triggering tax audits, charity commission investigations, even the potential for criminal fraud charges if willful mismanagement is proven. This isn't just speculation. According to financial analysts, the disappearance of $30 million isn't a clerical error. It's either gross negligence or something far worse. And that kind of mistake doesn't just cost money. It costs reputations, legacies, trust, which brings us to the most painful collapse of all: Harry's image. For years, the Invictus Games were the one project everyone respected. Even critics of his royal exit or media deals had to admit this was his success story, his purpose. But now, that final pillar is gone. The soldier prince, the global humanitarian, the man of action, all replaced by a new image: a man who built his brand on the backs of wounded warriors, and then went silent when they needed him most. That silence now feels less like dignity and more like guilt. Meanwhile, even the Sussex media machine is struggling to spin the situation. Meghan Markle, known for swift PR responses, has remained largely silent on the issue. No interviews, no statements, no emotional sit-downs with friendly journalists. Why? Some believe their team is stalling for time, unsure how to clean up a mess that isn't just bad optics, it's a legal and financial nightmare. And the public, they've noticed. In comments across social media platforms, former fans are turning away, some calling for Netflix to cancel remaining Sussex projects, others demanding that all charity-related ventures tied to Archwell be put on hold pending investigation. Asterisk, what started as a noble mission to support injured veterans has now spiraled into Prince Harry's most humiliating crisis yet. The missing $30 million hasn't just triggered legal threats and public fury, it's shattered the very foundation of Harry's post-royal identity. The Invictus Games, once his crown jewel, is now tainted by scandal, and the trust that once surrounded his name is evaporating fast. Donors are walking away, veterans are speaking out, auditors are circling, and the once sympathetic press is sharpening their headlines. But perhaps the most painful blow comes from the very people Harry vowed to fight for. Veterans who once cheered him on, who believed in the mission, are now left with a devastating question. Were we just a stepping stone in the making of brand Sussex? Meanwhile, whispers are growing louder that this may just be the beginning. Several non-profit partners linked to Archwell are now quietly conducting internal audits, fearful that they too may have unknowingly been entangled in this financial mess. If those audits uncover similar discrepancies, this won't just be an Invictus disaster. It will be the total collapse of the Sussex charitable empire. What's more, experts warn that even if Prince Harry escapes criminal liability, the damage to his public image may be permanent, and Meghan, the spotlight may soon find her too. Because when charity funds blur into content creation, questions follow. Was it a humanitarian effort, or just high-budget PR? All the while, veterans are still waiting for transparency, waiting for accountability, waiting for an apology that hasn't come. Because at the heart of this story is not just a royal or a reputation. It's about real people, wounded warriors who trusted Prince Harry with their stories, their pain, and their hope. And right now, that trust is broken. The Invictus Games deserved better. The veterans deserved better. And the public, who believed in Harry's mission, they deserve the truth. If the lawsuit proceeds, Prince Harry may soon be forced to testify under oath. If more discrepancies are uncovered, criminal investigations could follow. And if even a portion of that money funded Sussex-branded ventures, the fallout will reach every corner of their empire. This isn't a tabloid rumor. This isn't family drama. This is about accountability, numbers, and betrayal. So we'll leave you with one final question. Should Prince Harry be held responsible if the money isn't accounted for? Has he betrayed the very people he once claimed to fight for? Asterisk, let us know what you think in the comments below. Subscribe. Now, to stay updated on this scandal as it continues to unfold, because this may not just be the fall of Invictus, it might be the final collapse of everything Prince Harry built outside the palace gates.